Welcome back to Talking Elvis and the final part of Elvis's cars. As I said on the first episode, what I'm trying to do, the objective is to try to document as many of Elvis's cars as possible. This doesn't always mean that it's a car that he bought, but really focusing more on cars that he drove. We all know he bought a lot of cars and gave a lot of cars away. So really went back, looking back to the very first Lincoln and seeing all the cars that Elvis had bought. I'm no expert on cars, but I do know Elvis and I know his life, so I think I've covered quite a lot. If you can spot something that I've missed out, then please don't hesitate to reach out, let me know. And if you have a background story about it, even better. And somewhere down the line, I can take all the episodes and splice it all together into 1 hour-long video, which is just about Elvis's cars. I think that would be a nice thing to do. There's photographs like this one on the set of Love Me Tender. Elvis is sitting inside a Thunderbird. Now, there's nothing to suggest that in 1956 Elvis had a Thunderbird. So it can be a bit tricky. And what I have gone on is documented evidence of cars that Elvis had bought. So we're at 1970. Let's kick it off.
My soul has been.
This was a big car. To put it into perspective, it's 2 feet longer than a modern Cadillac Escalade. It could seat 7 to 8 passengers with 3 rows of seats. Hydraulic divider window between the chauffeur and the passengers, power windows, power trunk, hydraulic door closing system, air suspension. Over 20 feet in length, top speed about 127 miles an hour. 0 to 60 miles an hour in about 10 seconds. The car had a sunroof, and we have these famous photographs of Elvis taken in November 1970 on Doheny Road in Beverly Hills, where he's standing up on the seats looking out of the roof. On Friday, the 9th of October 1970, Elvis buys a 1971 Stutz Blackhawk from Jules Mayer's Pontiac in Los Angeles. He sends it to George Barris for customizing. According to Barris, it's the first Stutz to arrive in Los Angeles. Apparently rumored to be earmarked for Frank Sinatra, but Elvis uses his charm to drive it off the car lot. It was the first of its kind, sent to the US from Italy. Sent there really to showcase to potential rich clients. Elvis paid $26,500 for the car. That's about $200,000 in today's money. In fact, the average American house back then cost about that amount. So Elvis literally drove away in that car at a cost more than people's homes. In the David English book, Taking Care of Business in a Flash, there is a brilliant picture of Elvis taken in November, 3rd of November, and he's inscribed on it, He's made it out to General, Baby Bradley, with love and respect, Elvis and the Stutz. And you can see above his head, he's written down here, accessories, cane, belt, gun, cigars. If you can hear the window rattling, it's monsoon season here in Cambodia. So we're about to get a big lashing of rain. The car chassis was built on a Pontiac Grand Prix. The body built by hand in Modena, Italy. And the car with the split windshield, there was only 25 of them made. 3-speed automatic, 0 to 60 in 8.4 seconds. A beautiful looking car, 17.2 feet long. On the 8th of December 1970, Elvis buys another Mercedes-Benz. He has it for a very short time, then gives it to Joe Esposito. He also buys Joe a house. He's quite into Mercedes at this time, purchasing another one which he takes to Memphis. And in time for his birthday on January the 8th, he's got himself some handcuffs, a police siren, and one of these blue lights that you can put on the roof of the car, Starsky and Hutch style. On the 24th of December 1970, he buys another Mercedes, giving it to Sonny West. On the 1st of July 1971, Elvis's Stutz is involved in an accident. In fact, it's classified as a write-off. They tell him that if it's going to be repaired, it can be done so, but it would cost more than the original cost of the car and wouldn't be ready until 1974. So on the 8th of September, he buys another one. Also in 1971, he buys a white 1971 Stutz. He later gifts this to the doctor, Elias Ganem. Actually, that car had a little plaque inside, and it said, Elias Ganem, a true friend, Elvis Presley. By 1972, Elvis had become Stutz's most valuable customer. He had bought the prototype. He bought another one, the other black one. He bought the white one for Dr. Ganem. And then he buys himself another white one. The new white Stutz, Pearl White, didn't arrive until 1973, April. And Elvis leased it for a short time before buying it. And we have some photographs of the Stutz parked outside of Stax when Elvis recorded there in December 1973. As with Elvis, there are Cadillacs, but there's no known documentation, because Vernon kept everything. There is no known documentation of Elvis having registration for any cars, but we do know that he was buying them and giving them away. The next big purchase was on the 6th of September 1974 when he buys a Stutz Blackhawk 3. It's the one we all know of as reportedly Elvis's favourite car, last car that he drove, with the red interior. Again, it's in Elvis Presley Motors. Looking at that car a bit more closely the last time I saw it, it is a beautiful machine. Elvis was flamboyant, he was eccentric, but he also had good taste. Again, it started off with a lease agreement. Elvis put $20,000 down on the car. Again, eventually buying it. In 1974, Elvis purchased a used yellow Di Tommaso Pantera. Apparently it was for Linda Thompson, but when Elvis found out how fast it would go, he took the car back. The Pantera became known as the car with an Italian body and an American heart. A 330 horsepower engine, lightweight construction, push-button door handles. Extremely fast, extremely loud. If you would like to buy one of these now, a good driver, one in just a decent condition, could cost anything up to 150,000 US dollars. It's the car with the famous story of how one day coming out of the house and seeing the car parked in the driveway, he decides he wants to drive it. The car doesn't start, and after a little bit of time and becoming more frustrated, he gets out of the car and then he shoots it. Shoots the steering wheel. In November 1974, Elvis buys a Ferrari, a black Ferrari Dino 308 GT4. And by the 16th of November, it's in Memphis. Elvis purchased it used, not new, and the price was $20,583. He bought it from a dealer in Los Angeles before taking it to Graceland. 250 horsepower engine, 5-speed manual gearbox. 0 to 60 miles an hour in approximately 6 seconds. That car too is still at Graceland. On the 27th of July 1975, Elvis buys a Cadillac Seville. He drives this for a while. He keeps it, but eventually he does give it away. This one goes to his dentist, Dr. Lester Hoffman. He continues buying Cadillac Fleetwoods during 1975. Several were used by the guys, the entourage, and for touring. In 1975, he gives Uncle Vester a 1972 Cadillac. We know that on Sunday, the 27th of August, he goes to Madison Cadillac on Union Avenue and buys 14 cars. We must assume he keeps one for himself, but all others were given away. And that gives me the opportunity to post this photograph of Elvis on that day, and me with the Memphis Mafia at the same spot. The last car Elvis buys is in October of 1976. It's a 1977 Cadillac Seville, burgundy and silver in colour. And so we come to the end. Again, I'm sure I've missed cars out. If you know and have some background, please let me know. Let's go through very quickly then. So we start off with the 1941 Lincoln Zephyr, then the 1951 Lincoln Cosmopolitan, the 1955 Ford Crown Victoria, excuse my phone, the 1954 pink and white Cadillac Fleetwood Special 60, the 1954 Cadillac Eldorado convertible, the 1954 Cadillac Fleetwood limousine, the 1956 three-wheeled Messerschmitt, the 1956 Cadillac Eldorado Barrett's convertible, the 1956 Lincoln Premier, the 1956 Lincoln Continental Mark II, the 1957 Cadillac Eldorado, the 1958 Lincoln Continental Mark III convertible, the 1958 Mercedes that Elvis buys in Germany, the 300 Andauer, and he also buys a 1957 Volkswagen Beetle. The 1959 Mercedes-Benz 220, and at that time he also buys another 1953 Cadillac Fleetwood Series 60 Special from somebody who was leaving, a retired general or something in the army in Germany. In 1959, BMW 507, 1960 Lincoln Continental Mark V, the 1960 Rolls-Royce Silver Cloud II, the 1961 Chrysler New York station wagon, the 1962 Mercury Dodge Cornet, the 1962 Dodge Motorhome, the 1962 Ford Thunderbird Sports Roadster, and 1964 Rolls-Royce Silver Cloud Mark III, a 1966 Oldsmobile Toronado, a 1966 black Cadillac Eldorado convertible. He buys 2 El Camino trucks originally, and within the next couple of weeks he's bought a further 24 for Graceland and Circle G. A 1968 Lincoln Continental Mark II, a 1969 Lincoln Continental Mark III, a 1969 Mercedes-Benz 600 Pullman 6-door limousine, a 1971 Stutz Blackhawk. He buys another Mercedes-Benz in 1970. I couldn't get the model. 1971, another Stutz Black. 1971, he also buys a white Stutz Blackhawk. In 1973, he buys another Stutz Pearl White, and also the Stutz Blackhawk 3. He also buys it in 1973. A 1974 yellow Di Tommaso Pantera, a 1974 black Ferrari Dino 308 GT4, a 1976 Cadillac Seville, and in April 1977, another Cadillac Seville. So that's what I got. Thank you for watching.